Oh, there's been many years where I felt like I was undercover. And a lot of us who are intuitive and gifted, and yet also maybe intellectually gifted and overeducated. Yeah, we're undercover. We're working undercover. I remember I used to go to these business conferences for entrepreneurs, and back in the day when being an entrepreneur online was like the thing to do, and there were always so many people there just like really using whatever strategies and online tools and all that stuff to make a buck, like to get as many people signed up for programs as possible. And inevitably there would be a little subset of quiet, sort of more spiritually oriented entrepreneurs. And we would find each other and sort of cling to each other like as if we were kind of scared or offended or disgusted by some of the like hardcore marketing tactics that might include, I don't know, fake webinars, like webinars where it's not really live, but you set it up so that people think it's live and stuff like that, that just always turned my stomach because it's lying to people. And that kind of bullshit in the field, I think, ruins the business, like tanks the integrity of the business. And therefore, like if I'm doing stuff that's a lie, how am I, how is God a business partner for me? And so there, and this was silly to a lot of people. Like that idea was very silly to a lot of people. But for me and for the few people who are just really more spiritually oriented, it was imperative. And I remember I even was part of an organization called the Conscious Business Network. And I thought, okay, this is for me, like Conscious Business Network. We're going to be really conscious about all of our choices. We're going to be in full integrity. And I remember this one of the gatherings was all about how to run one of these webinars and make people think it was live when it wasn't really live. And I was like, oh, how is this conscious? And yeah, I kind of felt better than it. Like, I'll just be honest about that. I judged that, and I still do. I think lying to people is never your best marketing strategy. And and there were some of us that were aghast, and guess what? It bonded us. It bonded us. And the name that we used to describe ourselves was the undercover agents. And it was kind of the undercover agents for God. And another one of my buddies used that term a lot, undercover agents for God. And it became like this kind of secret little moniker that we used. But even now, working with people who are in corporate, who are in like highly regulated professions where they're not really allowed to talk about spirit or intuitive stuff, they feel like undercover agents for God, like therapists who are definitely not supposed to be bringing through psychic information, and yet they get hits on things, and they learn how to weave those in a way that holds integrity to be able to say, well, I don't know, I have this crazy idea, like, could it be this? And be soft about it, which is great. But a lot of us who are controlled by regulated professions, like I was when I was a lawyer, for example, we long to come out from undercover. We long to blow our cover. We long to be outright about what we know is true and about our deeper gifts. And I was recently working with a woman who was a professional financial advisor. And she was sharing how she's actually also a deep intuitive, and how when she's working with someone in the realm of financial advising, what she's really doing is helping them heal their trauma around money and value. And she's helping them look at their past patterning, or even feels like curses that come down through our families or through our education, And she's like, I can't talk about any of this. Like, I have to be so deep undercover. I have to couch everything in careful terms. Now, from my perspective, when someone has that kind of gift, but they're not allowed to come out with it, they're also not really getting paid for it. They're not getting recognized for it. They're not free to give the fullness of their gift. And it's freaking frustrating. It's frustrating for people. And I really love it when I get to help people like find the way to come out of the broom closet. And some people would call it that, like to reveal the fact that you're a little witchy, to reveal the fact that you're an intuitive, to reveal the fact that you're not just drawing from your deep education in the subject. You're not just drawing from your experience, your life experience. You're not just drawing from fields of data that you are analyzing. You're also drawing from your deeper intuitive intelligence. And that has value. I get a lot of these folks coming to me who are professionals, who are undercover as an intuitive, as a deep creative, as someone who knows, as a wise one, as an oracle. They're undercover, bringing that gift. And they reach a point where they think the fact that they have that gift makes them less valuable or like a misfit. When in truth, those are the gifts that make us the most valuable. When in truth, the leader who walks in the room with a certain air of knowing has more embodied power. When in truth, the innovator who can download solutions seemingly out of nowhere without even having all the data sets yet is seen as a miracle worker. In situations where the professional advisor also brings through a level of wisdom that they are intuiting will have the best and highest effect for that person, they are seen as the wise one who has a savant ability to identify and activate and help leverage people's secrets they haven't even been told. And when someone has the ability, the savant ability to intuit what everyone in the room is actually thinking and wanting, they are seen as the most incredible team leader. So this all comes back to the 4 types of intuitive genius that I teach about, because I just described them: the embodied genius, the creative genius, the ability to identify solutions out of nowhere, just download the solutions; relational genius, the ability to really read the room and to cut things off at the pass that could have otherwise taken the whole team apart; and visionary genius, the ability to see beyond the scene and to leverage that information. You just can't tell me that these undercover abilities are problematic. And I think it's really time for even regulated professions and corporate business to acknowledge these deep, deep gifts. Because, man, I remember when I was newly awakened to my own gifts and people knew me as a lawyer and a Catholic, and then suddenly I have all this other psychic ability and mediumship and the ability to do energy healings without any training. Like, it just awakened in me these gifts. And I remember feeling like I really would have to hide those forever, that somehow these aren't allowed. And I'd always been adulated and rewarded for the approved gifts of communication and negotiation, all the things that I did as a lawyer. It was hard for me to imagine ever coming clean being revealed fully in all circumstances as a deep intuitive, as someone who has psychic ability. It was terrifying to get public about that. And I even had to move, like I had to move from my town to another town. Like I didn't, it was too much to process. And, that was back in the year 2000. And I do think that culture has shifted a lot, because now when I even go to speak to corporate groups or to do work with corporate leaders, they already know. There's something in them that already knows that these intuitive abilities are the jam. Like, this is the stuff that really makes magic. Magic is what makes magic. There you go. So I'm curious now, whenever I meet someone who is kind of undercover, and I've got my undercover thing here, like just kind of hiding behind the veil. You don't really know. What does it take? What does it take now for you to feel like you can come out from undercover? Because as far as I'm concerned, the things that have you undercover, your psychic abilities, your special savant gifts, your intuitive genius, those are actually the things that should be getting you paid, recognized, and respected more, not less. And so what if there's just never a cover? What if the culture we're building doesn't have that cover? Instead, maybe the culture that we're building expects both analytical intelligence and intuitive intelligence, because that's what the best leaders have.